All right, so we've got our printer together, and now I'm going to plug it in, take this little film off the screen, and see what happens. So let's give it a shot. Let's change over to this camera. All right, so here's our printer, and my power cord. Take my little zip tie off, or zip tie, red tie. Take that guy off. Unravel my cord. There we are. And I'm just gonna plug it in the back here. Just gonna make sure the power switch is in the off position, just to be a little cautious here. All right. All right. So there we go. And let's plug it in. And you never know what a printer's gonna do when it turns on. So I'm just gonna do a quick little check and make sure I've got my full range of motion. Everything can move where it needs to move. I think I'm in good shape. There are some zip ties in the bag. It might be nice to zip tie these up just a smidge here. Maybe I'll do that real quick. I'll grab a zip tie out. I'm just gonna put one more zip tie just to kind of bring this out of the way. And there's more in there. You want to be careful that you don't over zip tie. You don't want to over constrain things. And then in this cardboard here, there's two things. There's this guy right here. But you want to be careful. It's got a really pointy point on it. And also in there are some diagonal cutters. We're going to take those off. These diagonal cutters are really great for cutting filament and things along those lines, but they're also good for cutting zip ties. So I'm just going to head back here and cut that zip tie. And there, that keeps us out of the way. But as I was saying, I want to make sure that I've got a full range of motion with my y-axis here, and it appears that I do. Once again, just some quick nomenclature. This is the y-axis, this is the x-axis, and up and down is the z-axis. But all right, so we've got that. And there was a step that I missed in the previous video. There's this little indicator knob. It doesn't have to be there, but it can be handy if you need to manually feed. That said, right, don't manually feed when motors are on, right? When motors are on, you should not be forcing them to move. That's a good way to make power electronics angry, so don't do that. All right, so I put that in there, and what's really nice is that this knob up here will actually indicate as the extruder is moving, just so you can see that it is indeed moving. I'm gonna do the most satisfying part. I'm gonna take off this film. Whoop. Cool. And now flip the switch. I'm gonna pause my music here, just because I do like to listen and hear if anything is going wrong. Right? Every time I turn on an electronic device, I listen and I smell, right? Do I smell anything? That could be like burning electronics or something just unexpected. Is anything getting hot, right? Everything seems fine. I mean, things are going to get hot on this. It is a 3D printer. But let's look at our screen here. So maybe, just maybe, I can zoom in on the screen. All right, that's as good as I'm going to be able to get here, I think. So I'm gonna. This guy right here is my selection device. So I'm gonna go through and just select English. And it looks like we're ready. So maybe, you know what, here, maybe I should move my, I don't know what camera I want to use here. Well, let's do this. Let's take this camera. This camera doesn't need to be looking at me. Let's just have it do. I'll show you what this camera sees. Hopefully you're not too motion sick. We'll set it just like that. And now we should be able to make it look at our screen. Ah, perfect. All right, so now you can see what I'm doing on the screen. And we can still see the printer. Well, we used to be able to. Might have to edit this out. So here we are back at the printer. Cool. All right, so we're back at the printer, and let's see where we're at. Cool. All right. So I think the next step we want to do, or what's recommended, is that we try out our leveling here. So this isn't a touch screen. Don't think it is a touch screen. We still have to use this little encoder down here. So I'm going to go over to leveling. Bed leveling. Please wait until done. So we've got some movement here on the actual printer. And now I'll get my body out of the way. It looks like it's heading down on the Z-axis. It's pretty smooth movement, really. So looks like it's got this little sensing device here that's going to use to level, so we'll see how it does there. I'm not sure if it's a switch or some Hall effect or what it actually is. To level, I would need to read. Making its way down. I can see a little indicator light that's indicating, oh, and it pops back in. Oh, cool, there must be some little solenoid there. Now it's gonna do a couple corners. I can see I've got a problem here. My cables are rubbing up against the bed, and we don't want that to happen, so I'm probably gonna have to address that. It looks like it's gonna go through and do a bunch of points. All around the edge, perhaps, or maybe a grid. I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, no, it's doing a grid. So let it do its thing. Normally this is something that you would, or in the olden days, that this is becoming more and more obsolete, you would need to adjust these knobs to level each corner. But more and more printers are starting to get systems that can automatically figure out the height of each part of the bed, and we can actually compensate for that when we 3D print. So how is it measuring height? Well, it's using a stepper motor to move the z-axis, and steppers move in nice deterministic amounts, right? So each step, it's going to move a certain amount, and so it's counting the steps as it goes up and down, and that's how it's measuring its height. So, let's see, we might be just about just about there. Well, it's going to do a little middle probe again. Let's look and see our bed's gone back to just saying, our screen has just gone back to regular mode, so it must be all leveled. So I think we're ready to feed in some filament and do something.